On Friday, April the 5th, 2024, I, Officer Silas, was assigned to Unit 19 D-Pod at approximately 0930 hours MA.
At approximately 9:15. So why is it that the CCTV video given to the defense starts at 10:14 and 56 seconds? Are they hiding, is the prosecution hiding exculpatory evidence from the defense?
I mean, the interesting thing is they used this incident to deny him bond. And then when they went to the evidence to show what happened that day, they're like, oh shit, if we use this incident, we're going to show that our officers actually assaulted him that day. They actually beat him up that day. So what do? They cut off the video that does not match their narrative. And they think that, well, we'll just submit a video, whatever video. I mean, you allege the incident happened at 9:15. Why won't you give the video to support your narrative?
Well, because the witness tell you the correctional officer actually went in
and
beat him up. Let's hear from the witness.
No threats whatsoever. It was just only the whole issue was just from the electric razors. Yes, sir. He ran in the cell, took everything.
Morning, Chief.
Morning. Just grabbing a little H2O before the next briefing. You know, a lot of good conversations start right here at this cooler. Keeps the department running and hydrated. Now,
Chief, we have a problem.
what's going on?
The Mustafa brothers. One of them got into evidence storage, took the Redfield file.
You're sure?
Caught him on the cameras 10 minutes ago.
Damn it.
Detective Forrester's been trying to track him since.
He knew exactly what he wanted. Folder was gone when I came back from the
All
lab.
right, lock down the exits.
We've lost another body cam node. Pull up the feed.
Found him. It's Mustafa, brother. He has the cams.
Lock down the servers. Now!
He's already inside.
Turn. This is for you, Agent Doyle. Full clip. Don't let them bury it.
Garcia, it's Reed. I need a location on Mustafa, brother. Now.
They brought him on a ride-share trace, heading south on East Street, plate ending 068.
Sending coordinates now.
Copy that. Keep the feet up.
I'm moving. Garcia, it's Reed. I need a location on Mustafa, brother. Now.
The broadcast talk to me.
Rideshare just dropped him downtown. He's heading for a studio called FM Wave.
Copy that. Put eyes on the block and lock it down. Whatever you do, don't let him air that file on his podcast. Units are en route.
The lawyer yesterday said in court on the record, she said the officers made a determination about drugs. Okay, information that she has today that there is no proof to this whole entire case. There is no proof other than statements from the officer of their theory. That's it. There's no evidence to support any of whatever is happening with Mustafa today. It's all based on statements of a theory by the officers. And she has that information that she went through the whole entire file. And the only thing the court has is a statement of a theory. No witnesses, no evidence to back up any of the allegations, simply statements of a theory. That was said on the record. Julie Carey has an obligation to report what's being said in court. But Julie Carey is in the back pockets of the prosecutor. She's covering up for Amy Ashworth and her illiterate prosecutors. I mean, this prosecutor is so illiterate that she cannot litigate Mustafa's bond without her notes of lies. And she didn't have her notes of lies. Okay, so what does the judge do? The judge obviously is protecting an illiterate prosecutor. And he says, all of a sudden, abruptly says, I've heard enough. I'm denying bond. All of a sudden, just randomly. And what happened right before the judge said that? There was a pause when Sarah Sammy was supposed to give her side of why Mustafa should not get bond. It was her turn to say what her objections are to the defense attorney. There was a pause. The judge read the prosecutor's face and said, holy shit, she forgot her lies. She doesn't have her lies in front of her. So he says, abruptly, I've heard enough. And then for the first time, Judge Weimer leaves the courtroom before Mustafa is taken back to his cell. The judge just got up, closed his notebook, and walked away from the bench. I have never seen that happen. Every time it was the judge telling Mustafa, that's it, sheriff, take him away. But this time the judge simply closed his notebook, got up and walked away from the bench. I mean, that's just
I'll tell you, he's hoping. This is what Judge Weimer is hoping.
I don't think he was happy about it, to be honest with you.
He's not happy because, one, Mustafa's lawyer, for the first time, you have a lawyer that actually is willing to stand up to a county. And she laid it out in detail. She told Judge Weimer exactly what this prosecutor is lying about. That her whole entire case.
He's not happy that the prosecutor almost forced him to take that decision yesterday.
The judge has an obligation to hold the prosecutor accountable by telling her what is your evidence, because the burden falls on the prosecution, not Mustafa. The prosecutor is telling Judge Weimer that Mustafa threatened a correctional officer. Now, the Judge Weimer is hoping that Mustafa's lawyer is not going to file an appeal, that Mustafa's lawyer is not gonna go forward because that's what he's been used to. I mean, for the past 3 years, you have lawyers that have been compromised, that are not telling the court what is going on, and the burden doesn't completely fall on the judge. I mean, at the end of the day, these defense attorneys are not telling the court that this case is falsified. And for the first time, you have a lawyer that actually did that. Now, is Mustafa's defense attorney going to take it to the next level and put an appeal on the record, put an appeal and tell the judge, actually, Your Honor, I have evidence that this prosecutor lied about Mustafa threatening a correctional officer. I have a piece of evidence that there is a witness inside the court that will reverse your decision that Mustafa's bond has been, that you're not going to give Mustafa a bond.
So yesterday, the judge or the defense attorney is asking for 3 to 4 months.
Absolutely.
She's asking for 3 to 4 months so that she can be better prepared for this case, since she just received all the case documents. Okay. And I find it funny that the prosecutor in the last 2 hearings have constantly stood up in court and told the judge, Your Honor, I'm wondering if the defense is ready for trial because she just came onto the case. She's trying to push this case even further because she knows she's got no case. So she wants to push it as far as she can. And yesterday, Mustafa's attorney requested that she gets 3 to 4 months to extend his trial for 3 to 4 months. And she noted on the record that Mustafa does not want to extend his trial date, but that she wants 3 to 4 months so that she can be better prepared. And she specifically told the judge that Mustafa is adamant about his trial date.
Well, Mustafa said it on the record. Mustafa on the record said that he's adamant about going to trial in March.
And the judge acknowledged that Mustafa is not trying to get a continuance, but that Mustafa is allowing his lawyer the 3 to 4 months so that she can be better prepared. Mustafa is willing to work with this attorney so that he can be better prepared. Now, the prosecutor stood up and she says, well, I don't know if I'm going to be ready in 3 to 4 months. And it's like, listen up here, prosecutor. By law, you have to give this man a trial within 5 months based on the law. You can't hold him for another year. You simply can't. If you charge somebody today with a felony, you have to give them trial. According to Virginia law, you have to give them trial in the next 5 months. If you can't do it, another prosecutor should take up the case, or you have to dismiss these charges.
One thing that I didn't like in what happened yesterday is when Judge Weimer asked Mustafa's lawyer, is because the lawyer asked the judge for a continuance because she's a new lawyer and she's just coming on the case. And she told him, he asked her, how long do you need? She told him, I need 4 months, just about 4 or 5 months, and I'll be ready. Judge Weimer asked her,
is this contingent? Go ahead. Contingent, is this contingent based on bond? Basically saying, is this contingent upon giving him bond? So if I don't give him bond, what does that mean? Do you still want the continuance? The lawyer said, yes, I want a continuance for 3 to 4 months. But the prosecutor got up.
She said it's not contingent.
It's not contingent.
It's not contingent. And that's where the lawyer should have told Judge Weimer, it is contingent on my client staying in solitary confinement, going on 4 years, and Mustafa has a presumption of innocence. You're innocent until proven guilty. And every piece of evidence show that they've lied in his case. So yes, Your Honor, this is contingent on whether you're going to give him bond.
It has to be contingent upon bond. If they're not willing to give him bond, I think he should go straight to trial. Okay, I don't think there should be any continuance because the prosecutor wants to claim that, oh, we're not ready. We don't have time. Listen, you're going to have to make time. In Virginia, the law is you have to give this man trial within 5 months. And if the defense is asking for a continuance, that date starts from the continued date. You have to give him a trial within 5 months.
What did Mark William, a previous attorney that was assigned to Mustafa's case, say about the prosecution?
It's not just Mark Williams. It's not just that lawyer. Every lawyer in Mustafa's case said that the prosecution is not ready for this case to go to trial because they've lied. They have no evidence. I mean, if you look at this case and why Mustafa's not getting bond, none of it has ever been related to this case. Every time he's went to bond, the prosecutor can't offer up anything related to this case to hold him from going to bond. Everything has been a lie. Every single proffer she's made has been a lie that has been debunked, and the prosecutor in a future bond has always changed the narrative. Every single time. I mean, the first lie was she said Mustafa was in a heated argument at the apartment. The moment you got the Google Nest videos that shows Mustafa and Dorothy were having a calm, pleasant conversation, leaving the apartment. Mustafa was cleaning the car before Dorothy got to it. The prosecutor changed the narrative. The moment that video hit the internet, she changed the narrative. Then she came up with Jason Nann's traumatic brain injury. Jason Nance came forward and said, I was never in the car with Mustafa. There was no accident. I don't know what this police officer is saying. I never said that. The prosecutor has never repeated that lie again. Okay? Now it's all these videos, all this evidence coming out to show that the police flat out lied. They've changed witnesses' information. And by the way, there are no witnesses because Mustafa, Dorothy, and Empress were the only ones in the car. So what witnesses are you bringing? Everybody else has everything they've ever said. It's considered hearsay under the law.
The fact of the matter is the prosecution are not ready and will never be ready because they falsified a whole entire case. Now, what I want to do, I want to play what Julie Carey aired out on NBC4 May of 2024 and really hammered the point home. Why did Judge Weimer deny bond May 2024? And why did he deny bond yesterday? And what are the options for the defense? The fact that there is a piece of evidence that show the prosecution is lying about Mustafa. There's a CCTV video that Mustafa never threatened a correctional officer. There is an audio recording on the record of a witness that came forward that said Mustafa never threatened a correctional officer. It's the other way around. Now, I want to, before I play NBC4,
by the way, that's major information for reconsideration of bond. That's major information. Witness coming forward, CCTV video, showing that the incident that the prosecutor lied about to deny Mustafa bond, that information is major for reconsideration of bond. Especially the fact that the other point was the lip reader, and Judge Weimer himself kicked off this lip reader and said, in Virginia, in the United States, lip readers are not credible. They have never been used in any case. It's not case law, and I will not make new law for you, prosecutor. So he kicked them out.
New at 5 tonight, a Prince William County judge has changed his mind about giving bond to a man charged with murder for a crash that killed his girlfriend and her little girl.
Prosecutors came to court armed with new details about the crime to persuade the judge to revoke the bond he set just last week. Only on 4, Northern Virginia Bureau Chief Julie Carey reports, prosecutors even hired a lip reader to figure out what the alleged victim was saying on silent dash cam video just before the fatal crash. We warn you, some of what you're about to see is disturbing.
No.
The look the dash cam video captures on Dorothy Fontaine's face is clearly one of fear in the seconds just before the crash. Her 5-year-old daughter, Empress, seated just behind her. The prosecutor telling the judge today a lip reader has analyzed.
A lip reader that has now been kicked off the case. So is the theory of the prosecution falling apart? Absolutely. Is that a major reason to reconsider the bond that Mustafa was denied? Absolutely.
The silent video and determined Fontaine is saying no, Empress is in the car as the vehicle veers left and into oncoming traffic.
Is there a body cam where the police inspected Mustafa's vehicle and found brake failure? Is there a EDR that shows Mustafa's foot is on the brake the whole entire time and the vehicle would not stop because the police inspected the vehicle and found brake failure? Why is Julie Carey not telling us that there's brake failure, that Mustafa's foot is on the brake the whole entire time, that there's a witness that says Mustafa made it and avoided every vehicle, made it to the 4th lane to avoid a vehicle accident, and an SUV turned into the 4th lane? Why is Julie Carey not telling us that there's a body cam where the main investigator is telling us that Mustafa cleared every vehicle, made it to the 4th lane, and that an SUV turned into Mustafa?
An SUV, by the way, that was speeding, that was on cruise control, and that turned into the lane over where Mustafa had cleared her. I mean, that's major information.
One piece of evidence the prosecution presented to try to convince the judge that Mustafa al-Jazeera is too dangerous to be given bond, arguing, quote, "This is no different than a situation where you have someone shooting and killing 2 people. He used his vehicle as a weapon on April 5th, 2023 that resulted in the murder of 2 individuals." Al-Jazeera's defense attorney contends his client was trying to pass a car, ran out of room at the intersection, and panicked. He rejects the suggestion the video or the crash victim's words show Al-Jazeera would be dangerous if freed on bond.
It states nothing about whether or not the deceased thought my client was doing it intentionally. It states that as she sees oncoming danger, her first thought is, oh no, my daughter is in the car.
Prosecutors also called the crash scene investigator to testify to support their theory that the crash was intentional. Sergeant Chad Mason says there were no skid marks at the scene, only light braking.
Let me show you something really quick. He says there were no skid marks, right?
The same Chad Mason, by the way, that admitted to violating police department policy and procedure, admitted to taking Mustafa's dash camera and tampering with it for 4 hours before it was given to digital forensics 2 weeks after he tampered with it. I mean, let that sink in. A police officer who takes digital evidence, manipulates it, and then 2 weeks later is given to the proper department.
This is a body cam. This is exactly the same officer that cut and mute Mustafa's dash camera is testifying in a bond hearing that there is no skid marks, that there is no brake. Mustafa never hit the brake. Well, why do I have a body cam that the main investigator on scene in a sealed body cam says all these are Mustafa's skid marks?
Skid marks.
Let's watch.
Did you have skid from him? Yeah, so that's all him. He spun twice.
He spun twice. That's all him. Yet on the media, they want to say light skid marks.
Let's watch that one more time. I mean, Julie
by the way,
Carey has an obligation.
What is light skid marks? Like what? They're not dark enough for you?
Wait a minute. I mean, we saw that Mustafa's
How dark do you want those skid marks to be for you to say, oh yeah, he was trying to avoid an accident?
Well, hold on now. That's Mustafa's EDR, the computer inside Mustafa's vehicle. And Mustafa's foot is on the brake the whole entire time. Mustafa is hitting the brake, trying to stop the vehicle.
He says light skid marks. Well, let's analyze the data from the other vehicle that recorded for 5 seconds prior to impact. She was on cruise control, which means she was hitting the gas all the way up to impact. What does that mean? What does that mean? She's not paying attention. She did not look past her windshield. Okay? She did not look past her windshield. What did Investigator Davis say to the other driver? He said, ma'am, you have nothing to worry about. Then he went to the police impound and removed the big rosary beads that she had on her rearview mirror. According to them, it was an active investigation. And what did they do? They removed an item from an active investigation scene, from an active piece of evidence that was being investigated. Davis went and removed the rosary beads from the SUV. Was it obstructing her view? Who knows? We'll never know because Rob Davis went and tampered with the scene of the accident.
I mean, when you watch this after you watch what's leaking out of Mustafa's file, clearly they're lying about Mustafa. Clearly, Julie Carey is not updating this community, because once you do, you're going to put the police department in bad light. That, hey, a police department, officers within this police department, a prosecution office that used officers that falsified the whole entire case. Let's watch that one more time, knowing that there's a body cam where Robert Drum, the main investigator, says all these are his skid marks.
Prosecutors also called the crash scene investigator to testify to support their theory that the crash was intentional. Sergeant Chad Mason says there were no skid marks at the scene, only light braking, and that the heavy damage was all on the passenger side. Al Jazari's attorney says that evidence actually supports his case.
I believe the testimony of the witness supports directly our theory, which is that he was trying to maintain control, which is what you would want to try to do if you are in a desperate, dangerous situation with your vehicle.
Actually, the damage is not on the passenger side.
It's on the rear. It's a passenger fender.
Let me pull up what Robert Drum on the scene. This is a body cam of the main investigator. So this is the vehicle at the scene. This is the vehicle at the scene.
Let me get this real quick.
Yeah, sounds good. This is what they've done to the vehicle. This is what they've done to the vehicle inside the police department. The police department crushed and staged Mustafa's vehicle. So we go into a body cam where the main investigator is telling you where was Mustafa's vehicle impacted. And he tells you it's in the back quarter panel of Mustafa's vehicle. What did we hear Chad Mason on NBC4 tell us? That the damage was on the passenger, and he testified to that. He testified that the damage was on the passenger, the front passenger, and the back passenger. Here we have a body cam that the damage is in the back quarter panel of the vehicle. That would mean, even if you were, for the sake of argument, say there is no brake failure, that Mustafa's foot was not on the brake the whole entire time, that there isn't a witness that says Mustafa cleared the vehicle into the fourth lane and the SUV turned into him. That even if you were to avoid the body cam where the main investigator says Mustafa cleared all the vehicle, made it to the fourth lane, and the SUV turned into the fourth lane, the prosecutor have to, beyond a reasonable doubt, tell us that Mustafa intentionally crashed the vehicle. Now, if you're telling us that Mustafa didn't make it to the fourth lane, but here we have a vehicle where it was hit. I mean, when you look at Mustafa's vehicle, Mustafa was impacted by the SUV in the rear quarter panel of the vehicle, of his vehicle. That would mean that Mustafa may, even if you take the argument out of the prosecution office, that would mean that half of his vehicle made it into the fourth lane. That would mean he's trying to avoid a vehicle accident. If you were to avoid and not look at any piece of evidence in this case that Mustafa made it into the fourth lane and the SUV made it into Mustafa, the fact that the vehicle was impacted in the quarter panel of Mustafa's vehicle shows that Mustafa is trying to avoid a vehicle accident. You have to prove that Mustafa, beyond a reasonable doubt, intentionally crashed the vehicle, was not avoiding an accident. I mean, the accident, the impact is in the quarter panel of the back of Mustafa's vehicle. That would mean Mustafa cleared half of his vehicle, according to the prosecutor. And then when you look at all the pieces of evidence, according to the investigator himself, Mustafa cleared into the fourth lane and the SUV turned into Mustafa. Let's watch what investigator Robert Drum is telling us, where did the SUV impact Mustafa's vehicle?
see the perfect imprint from the Suburban.
The perfect imprint from the Suburban. The Suburban that impacted and hit Mustafa is right there. The back quarter panel of Mustafa's vehicle. What did they tell us? I mean, Chad Mason, when you read the transcript of what he said in court during Mustafa's bond hearing, he said that Mustafa never cleared any of the vehicle, and the vehicle, the SUV, hit him head on into Mustafa's front passenger and Mustafa's back passenger. That Mustafa never cleared the vehicle. Well, here we're watching that the SUV actually impacted the back quarter panel of Mustafa's vehicle. That would mean, even by the standard in the argument of the prosecutor, Mustafa cleared half of the vehicle into the fourth lane. That's by the prosecutor, if you take the argument out of the prosecution office. But once you start looking at the evidence, you'll realize the main investigator, the witness are telling you that Mustafa cleared into the fourth lane and the SUV turned into Mustafa. The evidence showed that the police inspected Mustafa's vehicle and they found brake failure. That Mustafa's foot, the computer inside the vehicle, showed that Mustafa's foot is on the brake the whole entire time. Let's go back to the news and watch what the news is telling us.
Prosecutors also called the crash scene investigator to testify to support their theory that the crash was intentional. Sergeant Chad Mason says there were no skid marks at the scene, only light braking, and that the heavy damage was all on the passenger side. Al Jazari's attorney says that evidence actually supports his case.
I believe the testimony of the witness supports directly our theory, which is that he was trying to maintain control, which is what you would want to try to do if you are in a desperate, dangerous situation with your vehicle.
This is Julie Carey telling you that two reasons why the judge denied Mustafa's bond is because a lip reader who's now being kicked off the case, and that the prosecutor is alleging that Mustafa threatened a correctional officer inside the jail. With no evidence. She never gives out the evidence. And then you find in the file a CCTV video, a witness that tell you that prosecutor is lying about Mustafa. Mustafa never threatened a correctional officer.
The information that seemed to influence the judge the most, though, the prosecutor said that Mustafa Al-Jazari had threatened a jail deputy. The information that seemed to influence the judge the most, though, the prosecutor said that Mustafa Al-Jazari had threatened a jail deputy, saying he knew her address and would come find her if released. The judge revoking the $5,000 bond he'd set a week ago. Al-Jazari's family, who's been keeping vigil outside the jail, disappointed with the judge's ruling and questioning the allegations of a jail threat.
It doesn't make sense that Mustafa would make a threat. He's going to say, I'm going to be found innocent, only to come out and commit another crime. That just doesn't make any sense.
Al-Jazari's attorney now deciding whether to appeal. In Prince William County, I'm Julie Carey. News.
So what we're going to do, we have to go into the evidence that showed that Mustafa never threatened a correctional officer. And this prosecutor simply lied about Mustafa. And unfortunately, yesterday, the CCTV video was not put on the record. The recording, the CCTV video that showed that Mustafa never threatened a correctional officer, specifically Officer Jessica Selez. It shows that Mustafa never threatened a correctional officer. And there is a witness that came forward, another inmate that saw the whole thing, and tell you on the record that Mustafa never threatened a correctional officer. Yesterday, it was really sad that Judge Weimer didn't hold the prosecutor accountable because the burden falls on the prosecution. Mustafa is innocent, is presumed innocent, and the burden doesn't fall on Mustafa. It falls on the prosecutor. The prosecutor is alleging that Mustafa threatened a correctional officer. She has to show the evidence. Yesterday, it was the prosecutor's word against the lawyer. And it should have been
We just want to follow up to see.
I mean, this is a disturbing recording that I was just sent that tells you, and I mean, we can go into how the first attorney, when the file was sealed, and what he was telling us, and how the police department crushed and staged the vehicle, and they wanted to, the reason they crushed and staged Mustafa's vehicle is because they wanted to make it look like a head-on collision. And because I stole the file from the county, I've leaked it, now you can see that this is not, and they staged a whole entire accident, that this is a car accident.
Did you get that?
I just got it. Now, what I wanted to go through is, do you want to listen to that real quick?
Just listen to it real quick. And it's going to show you what the police were attempting to do in Mustafa's case initially. That's what they told the attorney.
Let's listen to him.
I mean, they chopped his car. You should pull up a picture of his car before they cut it and after they cut it. And that picture is going to tell you the story of where they were going with this case initially.
So let's pull up Mustafa's vehicle at the scene.
I don't know if you have that picture with the one on top, the one on the bottom. You have it?
I do. You're talking about that. Talking about this.
Yeah, that one.
This is Mustafa's vehicle at the scene. And initially, Robert Drum lied to
the defense attorney. That was the narrative that they were going with. You should just play the audio. I mean, the audio speaks for itself.
Well, I think before we play the audio, I think there's a body cam that he's telling, where Robert Drum is telling Casey Stephen why the vehicle went from this to this.
Well, yeah, I mean, the audio tells you that.
And
he's going to tell you exactly what the police told him.
Okay,
he's
all right.
explaining to us what the police told him about why the car looks the way it does, why the roof has been removed. And they're alleging that the damage to Mustafa's car, the fender damage, was from the accident. That's what they're alleging, that cut on the fender was from the car accident. They want to say it was a head-on collision. I mean, just listen.
Briefly, we're going to go into, and then we're going to have a whole entire podcast.
Listen to it, and then next time we'll
continue.
We'll pick up from that. And this is Casey Stevens that we paid $45,000 to, and then paid him an additional $5,000 to bring in a crash reconstructionist to go in and examine Mustafa's car. I mean, this is what they're telling Casey Stevens. This is what they're telling Mustafa's accident reconstructionist, the one that he hired, that was supposed to look at this car from an unbiased point of view and give a report based on his findings. This is what they're telling him. They've already chopped up the car, and that's what they're going to tell him.
Okay.
We just want to follow up to see,
Okay. Let me explain how it works.
Okay.
So we
can you hear it?
To
it's good.
the vehicle, and you saw the pictures, which pretty much memorializes how everything came down. You know, they folded it out of this fucking box.
Yeah.
It was all wrapped up. They set it down so he could then examine it, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The doors and the roof had been removed as part of the rescue efforts.
Okay.
Which is why they're all separated. You saw the door on his side. It's got a dent in it.
Yeah.
However, the damage is rather extreme on the passenger side of the vehicle.
Okay.
You saw from the front end
Listen
of
to
the
this
car
part.
where the Suburban first made contact with the 300. Right? It's got to be 18 inches maybe from the front. And then you see what happened to the Suburban and all of its.
Okay, pause it right there.
I mean,
do you have a picture of Mustafa's driver's side when they cut it?
Let's see if I can pull it up for you.
Just get it off here.
You're talking about the fender when they chopped it up? I think I do, yeah.
mean, it's on my other phone. Unfortunately, I have to have like 6 phones for this case.
I think I can pull it up for you. I think we're talking about this picture. Let's see. Yep, got it.
Is that before they cut it?
No, you're talking about this picture then. This picture.
Okay, yeah. Can you zoom in on that? Zoom in on that driver fender.
Yeah.
And then maybe just snapshot it and then go to the other one.
Okay.
Okay, so you see that driver fender perfectly intact, and play Casey Stevens audio.
You want to play it again? Okay.
Yeah.
The whole thing?
Sir. Just towards like, I mean, it's 1 minute, so right there.
Which is why they're all separated. You saw the door on. Okay. The doors and the roof had been removed as part of the rescue efforts.
Okay.
Which is why they're all separated. You saw the door on his side. It's got a dent in it.
Yeah. Pause it.
However, the dent.
Zoom out a little bit. Okay. You see the door frame. There's no dent.
There's no
in
dent.
the door frame. Okay. There's no damage to the driver fender. Now continue it.
Damage is rather extreme on the passenger side of the vehicle.
Okay.
You saw from the front end of the car where the Suburban first made contact with the 300. It's got to be 18 inches maybe from the front. And then you see what happened to the Suburban, and all of the damage is on the right-hand side.
Yeah. So he wants to say that the damage to Mustafa's side, about 18 inches from the front, that would put you at the driver fender. 18 inches is about, 1.5 feet from the front. There's damage to Mustafa's vehicle, where he says that the Suburban first made contact with Mustafa's car. There's damage to Mustafa's driver's side, the door frame and the driver fender, from where the Suburban first made contact. Now we're looking at Mustafa's car. There's no damage to the door frame. There's no damage to the driver fender. Now go to the they chopped it up.
You mean he's telling you part of the extraction effort? Everybody's
Part
already
of the rescue effort.
Everybody's already out of the vehicle. Mustafa and his family.
There's nobody in that car. The roof is still there.
That's on the scene.
That's on the scene. There's no damage to the driver fender. There's no damage to the driver door. Okay? There's no damage at all on the driver's side. Okay? But Casey Stevens wants to tell us that the damage on the driver's side was when the Suburban and the Chrysler first made contact, insinuating this is a head-on collision. Now we look at after the fire department came out to the impound days later. Okay, now zoom in on that driver fender.
This is the vehicle.
Okay, I mean look at that. That's at the impound. There's no damage to the fender on Mustafa's side. There's no damage to the driver door frame. Okay, but Casey Stevens wants to tell us that, he's relaying what the police department's narrative is at the time.
There's a picture where they cut the fender and bend the...
After they chopped it up.
Hang on, give me a minute, okay? Let me find it. If you find it, if you have it, let me know.
I know I have it on my other phone. Actually, here.
You have it?
Yeah, I found it. I think this is it.
This is one of them. This is one of them. Look at this.
I
got it.
I have a video of it. Look at
this. Look at this. Look at Mustafa's driver fender. They're turning a vehicle accident into a head-on collision.
Yeah, exactly. They're turning a a T-bone accident. His car was struck on the rear passenger fender. The other car never made contact with the front end of his vehicle, and they actively called the fire department to chop up the car in specific locations to make it look like this is a head-on collision.
They chop up the roof.
You're in solitary confinement. You're never going to verify what the car looked like initially. You're never going to verify what the car looked like when it was towed to the impound. All you have to do is go by what they tell you, okay? And Casey Stevens accidentally sent me all the photos from the discovery that showed the car before they cut it, when the car was initially towed to the police impound, and then after the fire department came out and chopped it up in specific locations. Okay? Now,
I mean, they want to tell you it's part of the rescue effort.
Part of
that
rescue
because they were removing Mustafa and his family, rescuing Mustafa and his family. That's why the vehicle ended up how it ended up. No, they're staging the vehicle.
I mean, pull up that video I just sent you. That video
I
shows you.
don't have memory on this iPad.
It's on TikTok.
Oh,
I'd send you a link.
Okay, all right.
Wait, maybe I have to send it to your.
But they're staging the vehicle. I mean, they're actively taking an accident, a vehicle accident, where Mustafa's foot was on the brake the whole entire time. And there's a brake failure where they found brake failure and they're turning it into, they're staging the vehicle. Didn't come through. You sure you sent it?
Yeah, actually, if you go on my TikTok, you'll see it.
Okay, all right, let me do that.
Let me see if I can pin it to the top. Mustafa was going to be guilty.
Unredacted files.
No, civil injustice. No matter what. Here, let me pin it to the top. Okay, it should be on top. You can remove the audio. Just unmute it. Okay, there you go.
All right, there you go. This is the SUV. I mean, does that look like a head-on collision by the SUV? How could it be a head-on collision? How? I mean, they want to tell you that Mustafa didn't make it to the fourth lane and the SUV slammed head-on into Mustafa in the third lane. Well, how is it that the driver corner of the vehicle, the front
is still intact?
Is still intact.
I mean, the hood is sharp as a pin on the SUV on the driver's side.
Well,
okay. If Mustafa was crossing her path, think about it. If Mustafa was crossing her path and she continued in her lane, then there would be damage all across her front end. But the fact that she turned over into the adjacent lane where Mustafa had cleared her, that's why you see damage on her passenger side only. That's why you see the front end of the driver's side on her car is fully intact. Okay? There's only damage to her right passenger side. And then Mustafa's car has no damage on the front end. Okay, you're going to see photos of Mustafa's car. I mean,
that's the SUV.
That's the SUV. Look how straight it is. And look at Mustafa's car. Okay, the headlight is still there. Okay, the hood is straight. There's no damage to the fenders. The only thing that you can see out of Mustafa's car is that his bumper flew off. Just the bumper cover, the plastic portion, flew off because of the severity of the impact. When his car spun around, the bumper came off. But the bumper, the plastic piece, is fully intact on the side of the road. Okay? And Prince William County Police came out to specifically chop up Mustafa's driver fender. They dented his door frame. They cut off the passenger fender, and they dented the passenger front door. And they completely removed the roof.
This is a really interesting comparison.
I mean, exactly. This is before they chopped it up. Okay, clearly they cut off his driver door, which, by the way, I don't understand the reasoning of cutting his door when all police reports and body cams show Mustafa was already out of the vehicle, according to Andrew Margiotta, the first police officer who was a DC officer who happened to be driving that way, shows that Mustafa was pulled out of the car by bystanders, and they still cut up his door.
Look, let's really look at why. Let's really ask the question: why would you dent Mustafa's vehicle right there, and at the front bumper?
And by the way, the
only reason you would dent Mustafa's vehicle is because you want to turn it into a head-on collision.
Look,
you want to say because of the head-on collision impact that the frame was bent here and there.
By the way, if you look at that cut on the fender, that's not a clean slice cut. It's not like they used a clean saw to just slice through it to make it look like, oh yes, we cut it here. No, it looked like they tore the metal. That's not a clean cut. They want to say this is a head-on collision. Mustafa's front end made contact with the front end of the Chevy Suburban. That's what they want to tell you. And it's not speculation that that's what they want to tell you, because you just heard audio from Casey Stevens. You should play the audio again.
Let's play the
what
audio
he says. 18 inches from the front of Mustafa's car is where the SUV first made contact with Mustafa's Chrysler.
All right, let's play the audio one more time.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The doors and the roof had been removed as part of the rescue efforts.
Okay.
Which is why they're all separated. You saw the door on his side. It's got a dent in it.
Yeah.
However, the damage is rather extreme on the passenger side of the vehicle.
Okay.
You saw from the front end of the car where the Suburban first made contact with the 300.
Uh-huh.
It's got to be 18 inches maybe from the front. And then you see what happened to the Suburban, and all of its damage is on the right hand.
It's got to be 18 inches from the front of the car, of the Chrysler 300. There's no damage to the 18 inches. Only damage that they've caused.
That's the vehicle at the police department.
That's the vehicle at the police department.
And that's what they've done to him. I mean, they're actively changing.
You want to talk about destroying evidence? They've destroyed the evidence in Mustafa's car. And I tell you today, you can get 1,000 accident reconstructionists. They will never be able to examine that car the way it was at the scene of the accident, because the police destroyed that car. They've destroyed it. No expert is going to come in and gather any new information other than to tell you the police destroyed this piece of evidence and it's not justified. It's 100% not justified. They're not justified in damaging the car. And they told the first attorney it was part of the rescue efforts. That was a lie. And when they got caught in a lie, today they want to say we destroyed Mustafa's car because we were trying to get out the EDR. My question to them is, did you also destroy the Chevy Suburban when you were extracting the EDR?
Obviously not.
Obviously not, because their plan is to exclude it completely from the case. So there's no reason for them to chop it up or to destroy it, because they don't plan on showing that car to the jury. They want to show Mustafa's car that they've cut off the roof, they've damaged it completely, all around, they chopped it up and staged it for a jury.
In the file, there is a body cam.
And that's illegal.
There is a body cam where Robert Drum is blocking the independent expert that was supposed to come out and inspect the vehicle, and he's telling him, Sarah Sammy says you cannot touch the vehicle.
You can only scan it.
There's a judge order.
You can only scan what we damaged. Your scanner can scan what we've staged for you, but you can't go in and identify what this brake failure is, because they don't want anybody to know what the cause of the brake failure is. They won't tell you what the cause of the brake failure is. They'll just say, there's brake failure, we don't know what the cause of it is, and we won't allow anybody else to come in and inspect it.
Look, not only did they block the independent expert from touching the vehicle, and they told him you can only take pictures of it. And what apparently they've done is they removed the original Faro scan, because originally at the scene, the police department, the crash investigators, took pictures and
Drum says he scanned the car with his Faro computer.
So where is the Faro scan from Mustafa's file?
They've got to turn it over. They have to turn it over. It's Brady material, because it's information that's going to show Mustafa was avoiding a vehicle accident. His car was T-boned from the rear. That's what it's going to show. That's Brady material.
So on the next podcast, we're going to go into details of what the police department did, what they've done. They removed the original scan, And on body cam, you see them blocking the independent expert after they crush and stage the vehicle, and they want him to have a new Faro scan
from a staged vehicle.
From a staged vehicle. And they want, and now in a motion that the prosecutor filed, she wants to take the jury to the vehicle and show them the extensive damage of the vehicle after they crushed it.
That's not going to happen. It's against the law. You've crushed and staged this car. You can no longer show it to the jury because it's not original evidence. It's evidence that you've staged for this case to make it match your narrative. And you've been figured out. You've been caught in a lie. And we'll see what the next coming days are going to uncover.
We're going to go into details into what they've done to Mustafa's vehicle and how the police department crushed and staged Mustafa's vehicle. Now, we're coming up to ending the podcast. But before we end the podcast, what I want to do, I want to share with everybody, I want to share with our co-host a piece of evidence that was not litigated in Mustafa's bond reconsideration yesterday, which is a witness that came forward and said Mustafa never threatened a correctional officer. Now, I'm not going to play the whole entire thing. We'll play it on the next podcast, because what we're going to do, we're going to go through the whole recording, and we're going to go through a CCTV video that they're terrified that I got my hand on, because now it has to be on the record. You want to say that Mustafa threatened a correctional officer? Let's look at the evidence. That's what the prosecutor is telling you. Well, the evidence show, no, Mustafa was beaten up inside the jail, and he never threatened a correctional officer. Now, my question to the defense, did you know, Mustafa's lawyer, did you know that prosecutor Sarah Sammy is hiding exculpatory evidence from you? What am I talking about? In the file, when you open Mustafa's file, you'll see a CCTV video of April 5th, 2024. Did you know that the incident actually doesn't start at 10:14 and 56 seconds? Actually, the incident starts at 9:30. Why is it that the CCTV video that's been provided to you by the prosecution office only starts at 10:14? I'll tell you why, and that's exculpatory evidence that they're hiding from you because they don't want to show what actually happened in jail. The witness tell you that Mustafa was beaten up, the officer barged into his cell and beat him. This CCTV video shows you after the fact, and it shows you that there is no threat. But where is the incident, the full video? Is that not exculpatory evidence for your case, for your client that you're fighting for to have him get a bond? The prosecution is hiding the full CCTV video that starts at 9:15. Let's listen to what Officer Fenner, who was conducting the hearing, that listened from Mustafa and that brought in this witness on the record testified that what happened inside the jail, that Mustafa never threatened a correctional officer. It's the other way around. What does Officer Fenner tell us? He says that the incident starts at 9:30. So why is it you don't have a CCTV video, and how could you prove your case if you don't have the exculpatory evidence that the prosecutor is hiding from you? Let's briefly listen to Officer Fenner, who conducted that hearing.
Are you muted it from here?
The misconduct number is 24-0. Today's date is 4/9/2024. The time is 11:31. Having the DAR him for inmate Al-Jazari, first name Mustafa, jail number 23-00808. The misconduct number is 24-0406-613. Mr. Al-Jazari, he was written up on a major violation, 24, unacceptable behavior. You have the right to remain silent, a right to present witness, a right to a staff advisor, and a right to appeal any decision of the board to superintendent within 5 working days. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, sir, I understand. And I have a witness right next door in cell 11.
Okay, we'll call for your witness in a few. Do you wish to be represented by a staff advisor?
Yes, please.
Okay. We're going to go ahead and pause the recording, get your staff advisor, okay?
Okay.
And then we'll proceed.
Yes, sir.
We're going to go ahead and proceed with the hearing. You met with the staff advisor, correct?
That's Brian Pittman, and all he did was just read the paragraph that's sitting right there in the piece of paper that you're holding.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself. I'm First Sergeant Fenner. This is Sergeant Cruz, and then this is Officer Wilson.
Miss Wilson.
All right. I'll read the narrative. After I read the narrative, I ask you how do you wish to plead, whether you're guilty or not guilty, then you can give me your side of the story.
So Officer Fenner is going to read the narrative of what they're alleging against Mustafa. Now, you just heard Mustafa tell Officer Fenner, I would like to call a witness, an inmate inside the jail.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
And then we'll pause the tape and call for your witness.
Okay, sounds real good.
All right?
Yes, sir.
On Friday, April the 5th, 2024, I, Officer Silas, was assigned to Unit 19 D-Pod at approximately 0930 hours.
At approximately 9:15. So why is it that the CCTV video given to the defense starts at 10:14 and 56 seconds? Are they hiding, is the prosecution hiding exculpatory evidence from the defense?
I mean, the interesting thing is they used this incident to deny him bond. And then when they went to the evidence to show what happened that day, they're like, oh shit, if we use this incident, we're going to show that our officers actually assaulted him that day. They actually beat him up that day. So what do? They cut off the video that does not match their narrative. And they think that, well, we'll just submit a video, whatever video. I mean, you allege the incident happened at 9:15. Why won't you give the video to support your narrative?
Well, because the witness tell you the correctional officer actually went in
and
beat him up. Let's hear from the witness.
No threats whatsoever. It was just only the whole issue was just from the electric razors.
Yes, sir.
He ran in the cell, took everything, and I'm laughing too because I'm like, what did he didn't do nothing wrong. And sure enough, 10 minutes later, they came and gave him all his stuff back.
Came back 10 minutes later.
10 minutes later, you look.
Let's listen.
They came back 10 minutes later to give him all his stuff back.
Let's listen to what he actually go into detail.
By the way, what is the whole basis of this whole incident? He called the officer by her first name. He called the officer by her first name because they've been constantly ignoring him for over an hour. He called the officer by her first name. She got upset. She told her supervisor. Supervisor came in and said, you can't call my officer by her first name. So what do? They go in and beat him up, take all his belongings, and then they think about it. They're like, oh shit, he didn't really do anything, and we just beat him up. Give him his stuff back. And that's according to a witness, by the way. That's according to eyewitness.
And when he came, then this sergeant was like, don't be calling my officer's name and stuff. Like, what's wrong with not calling the officer's name if nobody's going to answer the intercom? So if nobody's going to answer the intercom, then you're going to acknowledge the officer by calling their name and stuff. Well, this sergeant said, well, if you keep calling my CO's name and stuff, running yourself, take everything out. When he said that, I was like, that's not even a damn rule of like, that's not breaking no rule or whatever by calling an officer, acknowledging who they are to ask a question or whatever. So when he was like, it didn't care that like if you want to run in my cell for me calling an officer's name, that's not breaking no rule or whatever. He said, open the cell door, open the cell door. So being that he knew that it wasn't breaking no rule and stuff, the sergeant basically was looking to trying to do a bully move. So the bully move was open.
They're bullying Mustafa.
Cell up.
They go in, they beat him. How dare you call my officer by her first and last name? I'm going to go in and beat the out of you. Isn't that what they're doing? According to the eyewitness assessment? According to, and that goes into why are they not releasing the full CCTV video at where the incident happened. I mean, the incident, according to Officer Fenner, starts at 10:14. At 9:30. Officer Fenner tells you that the incident started at 9:30. The prosecution is hiding exculpatory evidence from the defense because it's going to show the whole entire story that Mustafa is the one that was beaten up by correctional officers. That they went in, beat him. I mean, what do we have here? What do we see here? At 10:14, all his items are outside his cell. That's all Mustafa's items. That's Mustafa's cell right there. And you're going to see that Fenner is going to tell you that at 10, let's go back into Fenner. Fenner tells you that at 10:14, well, let's listen to Fenner. And he's going to tell us at what time Correctional Officer Jessica Selez says that Mustafa threatened her. And we're going to go into the CCTV video. And what we're going to see is that Jessica Selez is interacting with Mustafa. Normal. It's a normal interaction. She's giving Mustafa his items. She has a door wide open and continue to give Mustafa his items, her and the other officers, where it shows there is no threat. I mean, if I was a correctional officer, if I'm being threatened by this inmate, what does she say? She's claiming that Mustafa says, I'm going to be released on a bond. I'm going to come out. I know where you live. If that's what really happened, why does Jessica Selez is seen on CCTV video? This is Officer Jessica Selez. At 10:24, this is where they have Mustafa's cell open. This is Officer Chen. Officer Chen goes up to Mustafa's door. This is at 10:21. He goes up to Mustafa's door. He has the door open. And this is Jessica Selez coming up to Mustafa's door, wide open. And you see them giving Mustafa his items back after they beat the fuck out of Mustafa. They go in at 9:30, beat the fuck out of Mustafa for what? Oh, you called my officer by her first and last name. Gonna go in and teach you not to do that again. What did you do? Oh, call my officer by her first and last name. And an inmate that's in solitary confinement for over 3 years now is being neglected. So he's trying to get the officer attention for what exactly? Oh, my beard has been growing for over a week now. I need the razor. Can you please give me a razor? Where is the razor? You've been ignoring me this whole entire week. My beard is... He calls her by her first name. She doesn't respond. So he's calling her by her last name. Her supervisor comes in. How dare you call my officer by her last name? I'm going to go in and over. And that's exactly what they did. They go in, and that's why they're not releasing the CCTV video. 24 hours later, she files and says that Mustafa threatened her. 24 hours later. Really let that sink in. I mean, what do we see here? Officer Jessica Selez has the door wide open. You're telling me an inmate threatened you and says, I'm going to find you. I'm going to be released. I'm going to find you. I know where you live. You have the door wide open and you're giving him the items? This is when? 10:24. It starts off interacting, giving Mustafa his items back at 10:20. So between 10:20 and 10:24, they give Mustafa his items, Jessica Selez and Officer Chen. And then they continue to give him and reward this inmate that threatened them, that according to them, supposedly threatened. I'm going to go on a limb, and based on the evidence, and based on how you're interacting with Mustafa, it sure shows that Mustafa didn't threaten you. You want to tell me I'm going to put myself in your shoes as a correctional officer. You, an inmate that says, I'm going to come out, find you, I know where you live, and I'm going to unalive you. I wouldn't be I wouldn't have the door wide open. I wouldn't be giving him his items back. I wouldn't continue to reward him and give him his items back all the way until the CCTV video ends. I mean, Officer Chan and Officer Jessica Solaz continue to be folding uniforms. I mean, they're making their rounds. They're folding uniforms. And then continue all the way till 10. All the way. This is Officer Chan, Officer Jessica Solaz. All the way until 10:40. And give and reward this inmate by giving him his items. You want to tell me an inmate just threatened you, but you're sitting there rewarding him? That doesn't make any sense. Unless he didn't threaten you. And you're lying about Mustafa. The question is, why is this not being litigated in court? Is the prosecution hiding exculpatory evidence from the defense? The whole CCTV video? Absolutely. Mustafa's lawyer it's not easy what she's doing. I mean, she's going up against the county. And what she did yesterday was beautiful. I mean, she did an amazing job yesterday. But do I completely blame Judge Weimer? Absolutely not. What should have happened yesterday, and I don't blame the lawyer because the lawyer is just coming into the case and has over 5,000 items. I mean, so Mustafa's lawyer, there's a lot of things that are going to be coming up. Mustafa's lawyer needs to find out where is the rest of the CCTV video. By the way, this is illegal. By law, it's illegal for the prosecution to hide exculpatory evidence. You're alleging that Mustafa threatened a correctional officer inside the jail, and that's why the judge is denying him bond. Because of this, they're telling you that Mustafa is a danger to the community. Well, the video shows that they've lied about Mustafa. The witness says that Mustafa never threatened anybody, and this should be litigated in court. Yesterday, the judge denied the reconsideration of the bond without listening to the witness, without looking at the CCTV video, without looking at the rest of the CCTV video from 9:30 that's hidden by the defense. That the prosecution office is hiding from the defense. Mustafa's lawyer needs to find out and hold this prosecutor accountable by telling her where is the rest of the video. Mustafa's lawyer needs to file an appeal because this evidence was not litigated. Judge Weimer ruled on the evidence, denying Mustafa a bond without looking at the evidence. Absolutely, Judge Weimer is not being impartial because the burden falls on the prosecution. The prosecutor has to prove that Mustafa threatened a correctional officer. The prosecutor can't just get up and say, Your Honor, Mustafa threatened a correctional officer without evidence. The judge should have held that prosecutor accountable. It's not up to the defense to prove their innocence. It's the prosecution. Mustafa is innocent, is assumed innocent. You're innocent until proven guilty. The prosecution has a burden to prove that you're guilty. She has to show the evidence to show that Mustafa threatened a correctional officer. Mustafa is a danger to the community. But in this court, under Judge Weimer is allowing the prosecution to just do whatever they want. In this court, Judge Weimer is making it where the burden to prove that is on Mustafa. It's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to work that way. But Judge Weimer, and that's why we say Judge Weimer is impartial. And I don't blame Mustafa's lawyer for what happened yesterday. As a matter of fact, she did a great job. I don't blame her because she's new to the case. And she's not. I mean, there's no way that you can find out and know everything that's going. You just came into the case. But when you do file a bond, an appeal for this bond, there is evidence that the prosecution is hiding from you, which is illegal for the prosecutor to do. Where is the rest of the CCTV video from 9:30? When you file an appeal, you need the full CCTV video. You need this CCTV video to litigate that in court. You have to put that on the giant screen in court, a giant TV. That TV that's sitting in court is not just sitting there for show. When you go into court, there's a giant TV that's on the wall. That TV is for the fucking evidence to show, did Mustafa threaten a correctional officer? Is the prosecutor lying about Mustafa? Well, there's a fucking CCTV video that's supposed to be on the record that so far no one has put on the record yet. There's a witness that recording of the witness that says Mustafa never threatened the correctional officer. Actually, they beat him up. The correctional officer went in and beat him. The rest of the CCTV video that starts from 9:30 should enter the record. Should be on that giant TV inside the courtroom. Otherwise, you're toying with Mustafa. Otherwise, we really are not having an actual bond hearing where, and unfortunately for this county, that's what they thought was going to happen until I stole the file, until I hacked their system. I got the file that they sealed. And now I can actually sit on this podcast and litigate that this county is not being honest about the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. That Julie Carey is not updating the community on what is going on in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. Julie Carey with NBC4, who prides herself that she's honest with this community, is actually deceiving the community for not updating the community on what they're doing in Mustafa's case. We're gonna continue to litigate what they're doing in Mustafa's case on the internet. On the next podcast, we're going to go into more detail. We're going to go into detail into the CCTV video. We're going to listen to the full recording about what happened inside the jail. And we're going to continue to ask questions. Now, I want to thank Zulak. I want to thank Casey for being here. I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to remind everybody to follow us on YouTube under Not Another Boring Podcast. Don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to support what we do on our podcast. Our channel is monetized, so you can directly support us, support our platform on YouTube, or you can simply just Cash App Boring Podcast to support that we can continue doing what we're doing. And what we're doing is simple. We're trying to hold this county accountable. We're telling you what they're doing behind closed doors. We have evidence that the county falsified a whole entire case. And if they can do that to Mustafa, they can do that to anybody. If you're telling me to get justice in this county, you have to go and access and hack the police department server. You have to create a whole entire platform to expose what they do behind closed doors. You want to tell me the only way you can get justice and expose and have a fair trial is for you to do that? I tell you, we're living in a county that's not safe. If you want to tell me that officers that wear a badge and a uniform that can just do whatever they want and falsify a whole entire case, they're supposed to not be able, there has to be checks and balance within a county that not allow officers to falsify and do whatever they want. But unfortunately, at Prince William County, there isn't. Under the watchful eye of Chief of Police Peter Newsham, there isn't. Officers are allowed to falsify cases. And it sure sounds that's standard operating procedure for this county, because we're finding out that they're doing it in other cases. I want to thank everybody for being here. Casey, I love you, ma'am. Zulak, thank you for being here. Farah, I love you, ma'am. And everybody that's tuning in, I want to thank you for being here. This is Not Another Boring Podcast. Mustafa, through the police body cam. Judge Carol Weimer, you are under the microscope.
If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it, is what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay.